Hello and welcome to my channel about spiritual self-growth. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video. Hey everybody, this is Cyrus. I hope everyone is having an amazing day wherever in the world you happen to be. And today we are talking about the challenges of being an empath. Somebody who is empathic is the opposite of someone who is apathetic. An apathetic person really doesn't care what people around them think. And this, just like being an empath, has its pluses and minuses. If you don't care what anyone around you thinks of you, you have the danger of becoming inconsiderate. If you are empathic, you have the danger of being too affected by people. And in life, just like all things, when we talk about the middle path, it's necessary to find that kind of middle ground between being apathetic and being empathic without falling too far in one direction. For myself personally, I do consider myself an empath, and I also feel like I have been able to keep control of those tendencies so that I stay sane, so that I'm not all the time being affected and tossed around by people around me and emotions and energies and things like that. However, some of it still comes through sometimes, despite all the disciplined efforts that I've taken to master this area of my life. A couple examples of the ways that I personally get too affected by energies around me is, for example, let's say I hear about someone else being sick. I hear about somebody having a really bad disease. I hear about all different types of bad things that could happen to somebody else. What I immediately do is I place myself in that position and I think about, what if this were me? What if I were the one suffering from cancer? Or what if I were the one who was in that car accident? And I'm visualizing what this person was going through. And needless to say, when you're doing that type of thing, it can crash your whole day, because now you're in this very difficult mindset where you are imagining something really terrible that had just happened to you. And really, that's not something that we should be dwelling on, especially if it's not something actually physically happening to us. But when you're empathic, it's almost unbearable to think that someone else is going through those things, and so you want to work that energy out yourself by imagining how this would be affecting you. Obviously, this is not really a great habit to keep going. The other way that people get affected too easily by others is just socializing, interacting, and then picking up on subtle energies and allowing that to get you down. For example, someone who's apathetic could have a conversation with someone, and that conversation could have some subtle nuances where maybe the other person is annoyed, maybe the other person is in a bad mood. Whatever it may be, the apathetic person doesn't even think twice about the conversation. When it's done, the empathic person walks away thinking, was I to blame for that? Am I the reason that they were a little bit upset or they were in a bad mood? They seemed a little bit annoyed by me. How can I fix that in the future? Should I apologize to that person? So it's the opposite of being inconsiderate. It's being considerate, but sometimes to an extreme level, which is not good for somebody's mental health. To deal with these challenges, it's basically a mental effort and involves a little bit of meditation. And my favorite type of meditation is mindfulness, because it's easy to get into this without meditating in a traditional way of sitting in a chair and basically entering into like a state of consciousness where everything is brought to a fundamental level, or is very blank and pure, I suppose, is one way to define meditation in a typical sense. With mindfulness meditation, you can basically put yourself into that heightened state of consciousness, even when you are out doing work, when you're driving a car, when you're walking around in nature, or even doing dishes in your kitchen. You can really immerse yourself into the moment. Now, one of the reasons this helps some of these empathic issues is that when your mind is being overactive and thinking and stressing and even obsessing about other people, things you may have said, things you did or didn't do correctly, thinking about someone else's problems, someone else's tragedies, and things of that nature. If you can refocus your mind into the present moment, into awareness of what's happening around you at that moment, then you are separating from these what if scenarios and coming back into the here and now. So this in many ways is the antidote to having too much empathy, is learning how to put yourself back into the flow state that comes with living in the present moment. And as I like to point out, this doesn't mean that you're not going to ever think about the future again. You're not going to think about being retrospective about something you said or something you did. Really what this means is about being connected and present to life as it's happening around you. And from that point, you can think about things that have happened in the past. You can plan for the future, but that should not be your default setting. That should be something that you, on your own accord, are able to activate. Like, I'm going to think about this now. I'm going to think about what I said here or what I did there, and see how I can handle things differently. You want to be able to choose to go into those states of mind, not allowing those states of mind to control you. So in essence, that's how I handle being too empathic. And pretty short video, I guess, pretty simple. So if you're struggling in this area, try to get back into the present moment. Fixate on the things around you and try to almost feel the energy in those things. So if you're doing dishes in your kitchen, really feel the bristles of the sponge as you're scrubbing the plate, and zoom in on the things happening around you. And every time you begin to feel the urge to overthink, overanalyze, and worry about everyone around you, take a step back. Know that it's okay to be empathic because that's a strength. It's better to be more empathic than more apathetic. Absolutely, I have no doubt about that. But you also want to just learn to be able to work with that and control it and stay fixated in the present moment. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. This is Cyrus Talks Spirituality. Go down and hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. Brand new micro channel. I usually send people to my main channel, which is about more supernatural topics and spiritual topics, at afterlife topics and metaphysics. So that's my main podcast. You can check that out if you want. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.